We don't have a Department of Commerce. No. No. They either figure out how to survive or they don't. If they're going to expand, we'll try to help them expand, right? We try to create a business environment for them. On very rare occasions, we used to offer them some loan packages, but we've zeroed all that out in our budget. That's why our budget's gone from 65 down to 43. We don't do that, and there really has not been much. There's been no clamor about it. Yes, sir. The governor signed an executive order on his second day in office, and we abolished them. The governor signed an executive order on his second day in office, and we abolished them. Yes. That's what it took. Yes, sir. The governor got 58% of his vote, and Barack Obama won the state. So, I mean, if you're a politician, that's the goal, right? You want to get reelected. You got 58% of the vote in a year in which Barack Obama had a historic win in Indiana, right? So, I mean, he's a reasonably popular governor because he's pretty effective and about driving the state forward, about getting us out of the malaise that we were in, right, and turning us into a place that people want to keep and bring their personal financial capital. There was a consensus that developed at the beginning of during his first campaign that Indiana needed to be fixed. And there are some people that don't like every piece of the way he's chosen to fix it, probably including himself some days. But those are the choices that he's made, and in the aggregate, right, the state of Indiana is a far more competitive, compelling story today than it was 6 years ago. But those choices that we made were not easy. None of these are easy choices. Right? If you're happy with the status quo, then don't change. No, we are not a right-to-work state. We wish we were a right-to-work state. We are not a right-to-work state. Yes, ma'am. This map.
Bring in the elephant that's more effective. How does economic development actually sustain itself in the dark area?
Okay. Well, first of all, these are competitive consolidations. So these aren't all the deals that we've done. These are just the deals that consolidated into Indiana. But within Indiana, for instance, we like every place in America, have our issues. I'm going to try to, somewhere there's this, yeah, okay. All right, so if you look at this part of the state here, right, this part of the state has received a lot of companies from, a lot of competitive consolidations from Ohio and from Michigan, right? This part of the state, this is Elkhart, the RV capital of the world. By the way, the RV piece shows you what happens when clusters go wrong, right? I mean, we believe in the cluster thing, and we do the cluster thing, but the cluster thing can be, a cluster, you know what? But there are parts of the state like Lake County, right? Lake County should absolutely be exploding with jobs coming in from Illinois. People in Illinois have bypassed Lake County because of the property taxes. The property tax burden there is higher than it is in other parts of the state. So they've bypassed that state. Now we have other people who have expanded there, who have located there, but they've not chosen to competitively consolidate there because the equation that makes the rest of the state effective in competitive consolidations doesn't work in that particular place. And we tell people in Lake County that all the time. But they make their own choices in terms of how they choose to run their local governments. Perhaps. There's a gentleman in the back of the room. Pardon me. How many legal challenges did the government have to sign? We were sued several times, unsuccessfully. Yes, sir.
May I comment, the single most important thing you did was daylight savings time. Change it.
Yes.
What did you do? You said you were expecting it.
Oh, the daylight savings time thing?
Yes.
Well, in other words, why it was important?
You know, the state gets divided. I know Gary, Indiana, close to Chicago.
Gary is,
Stays on the central.
right, Gary does, and this part of the state does as well. I mean, we're kind of awkwardly located on the map of the globe, as long as you believe Greenwich is the place where mean time starts, right? So either it's going to get light too early or dark too late, right? There's nothing you can do about it, right? That's just the way, it's where Indiana where God put Indiana. And he was great to us in many respects, perhaps not in that one. So we had, for our own convenience, we had decided to be on different times. And if you just worked in Indiana, right, if you weren't living in a global economy, that worked really well, honestly, right? Because it gets really dark up here too early in December, right? Does it get to like 2:30 in the afternoon and gets dark? But you know, people like to get up when it's kind of light and go to, get home from school when it's, still light out, right? And that's hard to do any place in the upper Midwest in December. So, we passed daylight savings time. I've been in politics and government for a long time. It was the most passionate vote I've ever seen on the floor of a legislative assembly, all right? Passed by one vote at 12:01 midnight, all right? And it was when we were on Eastern Standard Time. But it's made a huge economic difference in terms of attracting people like Medco who wouldn't even have looked at us to find out that we could do their permit in 5 days because they didn't want to move from place to place. They didn't want to move from time to time to time, right? So sometimes really cheap stuff can be really effective. It costs exactly no money because all the watches in Indiana already had stems on them, so we could so we're all on the same time. Yeah.
Last question, if anybody has one. I guess I'm going to. From marketing and branding, you talk about it being fundraising to go overseas, etc. We don't see a lot of advertising on TV for Indiana, at least I don't. What is your philosophy on marketing and branding, and how do you implement it?
Our marketing and branding philosophy is pretty straightforward. First of all, we don't believe in television or radio ads, though we are occasionally tempted to put up ads in Illinois that say Illinois, but we don't. We don't have any. We have cute lines from many states. Wisconsin's not one of the lines. We have the cute lines for the like there's no Ohio we have and Michigan, but we don't have any Wisconsin. We like Brett Favre. Oh, he's not the quarterback anymore. Our philosophy on marketing is the direct approach, right? We go to visit people, right? We knock on their doors. We wine them and dine them, take them to games, and promote the state of Indiana. The best thing we can do, though, for us, is to get people to come to the state of Indiana. So, when we do, I hope you guys did this with the U.S. Open that was here, right? I hope you guys, the PGA Championship, right? I mean, I hope you guys brought site consultants in and showed the site consultants all the great things that are there. I mean, that's what you ought to. That's what we do when we have those events in Indiana at our Pete Dye course, and it's very effective because people from around the world, they don't understand how pretty Wisconsin is, right? Any more than they understand how pretty Indiana can be. So it's really important to bring people here, and we spend our dollars on that. So,
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good luck.